Yeah, last time the issue was like it lagged even when I was like, you know, playing alone. How did that barely miss? Each time I try to edge guard you, I lose a stock. Yeah, that's an issue with Ultimate sometimes, that edge guarding is not worth it. Some characters are very good at it, but most characters are only mediocre at it at best. Worst placing at a major. For melee, it was 5th. After I started going to the US in 2009, I placed 5th twice in like 9 years. Every other time was like minimum top 4. Like last time I got below 5th was at a Swedish tournament back in 06. Before I even mained Peach. No, what? I'm so mad. Dude. Zoom is so stupid. I looked away. That was my mistake. I personally really do not understand the appeal of tournament Twitch chats. Like, I know a lot of people love it to just spam shit, but for me, like, if I'm watching tournament matches, like, maybe if you type between the matches, but I feel like if I'm watching the game, like, and if I'm gonna type in chat, it's like you know, I'm not focusing on the match. And for these people that say they can focus on both at the same time, how the fuck can these people never understand what's going on in teams if they are so good at multitasking and seeing everything around them perfectly? I really think it's just people that, you know, give up on looking at the actual matches to, you know, type in chat. Between games, I understand, but not, you know, typing like 15 messages per match or per stock sometimes even. I don't know. At first, maybe I was like, maybe it's like, you know, fun to see the reactions, but it's like the same reaction every time. So it's not, I don't know. If you saw like actual humans reacting to it, then I would understand it. But seeing like 1,000 pogs every time, I don't personally understand the appeal. I know that I'm like, you know, maybe the weird one here, but that's how it is for me. Well, you're a little kid, Hazes. Compared to you, we're all boomers. I'm sorry, but you asked for it. I mean, I don't want to like excuse bad behavior, but I feel like as soon as you have enough people, it's always gonna be toxic people. Especially when you count like the online community as, you know, part of whatever community you're talking about. Like, I don't feel like a single community that have, like, any, you know, type of, like, members, like, you know. Of course, if you have a community that is 1 or 2 people, of course it might not be toxic in that small group. But if you have any group of people that is, like, you know, a relatively large portion, it sadly will be, you know, a lot of toxic people. Especially when it's online. Sadly, like, the internet and online kind of like, I wouldn't say promote being toxic, but it's no consequence of being toxic, really. Yeah, the thing is though, I feel like if you take weeks or months of a break from a game, then it's like you're not going to be able to reach top level. Like, sure, if you do take like a break that is like, you know, let's say 2 weeks once, pretty much ever, then sure, you can still be a top player. But I think a lot of people, too many people, they take like massive breaks way too often. And it's not really realistic to become super good. Like, It doesn't really work that way. Unless the game is like very, very small and not competitive. I mean, if you start playing worse after losing a set, I feel like that's a lot of like not being able to like let go of what happened. So, for me, like, if I lost a set, I literally just try to focus on like whatever next set was. Like, forget about the set that happened, forget about that loss. Feeling bad that, oh, I lost this set, I could have won, I should have played better, stuff like that, that's not gonna help you. It might sound weird, but for me, what I did was literally just like try to ignore it and think about my upcoming set. And that helped me a lot. Like, focus on what's like happening now, not what happened in the past. Even if I won a set, it was not like I was like, you know, oh fuck yeah, I won this set, I'm so good, blah blah blah. I was like, you know, back, sit down, warm up for my next opponent, win or lose. I try to treat it as similar as possible. Yeah, I've gone over this on stream before, but I think what it comes down to is that the average viewer, like, for me, if I watch, you know, Ultimate or Melee or whatever game it might be, and I know a lot about the game, for me, if I see people lose due to being bad at the matchup, don't get me wrong, they deserve to lose, right? If that's the case. But those type of sets are not fun to me to watch. If I watch a game I don't understand as well, I'm not going to be able to say exactly how good this person is at, you know, this matchup. Like, I might try to look at the game and have fun, but I'm not going to understand, like, all the, like, deeper stuff of what's going on. Like, if you put me in front of, like, watching, you know, non-Smash games, for example. Like, let's say you put me down to watch Tekken. And I'm not going to be able to say, like, oh, this person is, like, 9 out of 10 in this matchup because of this, and this reason, and this person is 2 out of 10. I will probably, you know, see, like, smaller stuff and be like, alright, this guy is winning due to, like, some of this stuff, and this guy is losing to some of these reasons, but I'm not going to understand the big picture. But if I do understand the game, and I do understand all these things, it's not going to be fun to see people lose due to, like, oh, they didn't know that this character have this super unique thing about them, and they lost due to that. So, for people that know about, you know, the game, seeing people lose for these reasons, I feel like it's not fun. But most viewers do not understand the game that deeply, so for them it's just cool to see upsets, regardless of how the upset happened. Like, a lot of people would be happy with, like, best of 1 and 1 stock cheese upset, just because it was an upset. Like, that's enough to satisfy a lot of people, but for a lot of other people, it's like, well, this is not, you know, not really cool to see. And with too many matchups, it's, like, more natural to see, like, sets where the opponents don't really know the matchup very well. So you see, like, who is, like, slightly better at not getting cheesed. No. None of the pros knows all the matchups in this game. The thing is, a few of them are that much better, and some characters are, you know, that uncommon that they still, like, can get by. But I think if this game was, like, let's say 10 times bigger, it would be more common to see, like, even the top 10 players lose to random ass characters. It's just that it's so few players, relatively speaking, that can challenge them, so they're still relatively uncommon. But I mean, it still happens sometimes in a game like Smash 4. Like, you saw Zero lose to that Palu player, Prince Ramen or whatever he was called. Like, you still saw stuff like that in Smash 4. Then I think the game as well was, like, kind of, you know, upsets heavy in a sense. 2 stocks, massive rage. In MOBAs it's really important. Yeah, like, okay, I was not trying to say that it's not, like, important at all, but, like, in a game 1 versus 1, it's gonna be, I feel like, even more important. Because if you play 1 versus 1 and you're, like, mediocre at one matchup, then you are mediocre at that matchup all around. But, like, let's say you have 5 people, and one of the 5 people is mediocre against one of the characters, and the other 4 is, like, super good against this character. Then you being slightly worse against this character, it feels like it shouldn't have as much of an impact. And I feel like that was the case for melee teams too, and that's only 2 people. Like, let's say I was worse against like a character or a type of player, then me and Andrew could play around that, knowing that, you know, we're 2 people, so you can like work more on these things, and I can work more on these things, to, you know, play according to our advantage and disadvantage. So that was kind of like my theory behind it, but again, I'm not an expert on MOBA games, but I kind of feel like it should apply to some degree.